The state of Florida approves the first bear hunt in over 10 years. A Florida man kills 2 people and tells the police that a cockroach told him to do it. A Florida man priest is arrested after fighting a woman who donated to his church. And 2 elderly Florida men are accused of lewd activity at the nature preserve. These are the weird stories for Friday on Weird AF News. They're all from Florida because it's Friday. I only do weird news from Florida. I like to call it Florida Friday on Weird AF News. Someone should record that ditty for me. Florida approves the first bear hunt in 10 years. For the first time since 2015, a Florida black bear hunt is going to return to the state. After months of contentious public debate, Florida's wildlife commissioners voted unanimously to approve a 23-day bear hunt in December, so that's next month, and that will allow for up to 187 bears to be killed in total. The commission also laid the groundwork for future bear hunting seasons as well, because apparently there's a bear problem, just like they're having in Japan. I just did another bear story in Japan. What was it, on Wednesday? Got bears everywhere, and apparently in some places you're allowed to hunt them. At least in the U.S., you're allowed to hunt them down. It's tough being brown in the U.S. right now. It seems like they're always on the run, the brown animals I'm talking about. Now, as for Florida, with an estimated 4,000 wild bears in the state, wildlife experts with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission say that hunting will be an effective tool to manage a growing and healthy population of bears in Florida. While there hasn't been a formal count since 2015, agency staff say their data shows bears are expanding their range, which is a definite sign that the population of bears is growing in the Sunshine State. Now, of course, you have conservation groups who oppose the bear hunt. They say it's premature, and they point to the chaotic bear hunt a decade ago that was cut short when hunters killed the permitted quota in only 48 hours, including nursing mothers. Oh, so it turns out they tried this a while ago and it didn't go well because Florida man with a gun and given the green light. Well, that can go south sometimes. Rules? There's rules? I'm only allowed to kill male bears? Oh, I don't know. I can't tell the difference between a male and a female nursing. And some conservation people have taken the criticism further. They're saying that the commission in Florida, which includes land developers, has lost complete sight of its mission to conserve Florida's fish and wildlife. Here's a quote from James, who's a campaign coordinator for the nonprofit called Speak Up for Wildlife. I'm sure James is just a hoot to hang out with. He says, "They think this fight ends today. They are sorely mistaken." I don't know why I gave him that cotton candy accent. I just thought that the campaign coordinator for Speak Up for Wildlife would talk like that. They don't know what they're dealing with. Godzilla lives underneath this shirt. Now, before we judge, let's find out what the rules are for hunting for the next 23 days. Not the next 23 days. It's 23 days next month in December. You got to tell Floridaman, though, not till December, buddy. Because they'll just run out there and start blasting away. So I started blasting. And you got to make sure Floridaman knows the difference between wildlife bears, like actual bears in the wildlife, like Yogi Bear, and large, furry gay men. Because Floridaman, not bright and... in general, is not an ally of the gays, like I am. I'm an ally of the gays, in case you were wondering. Big ally. And I'm also an ally of the bears, the other bears, the furry bears. I mean, I like wildlife. I feel bad for wildlife. We move into their area, we start building giant luxury apartments, and then we get really pissed off that they're around. And then we make a rule that you can just murder them off. It just seems really cruel to me. I'm not proud of being a human at all. I hope I get reincarnated as a lovely butterfly or a house cat. House cats have it good, They get free food all day and they don't have to do any tricks or earn it at all. In fact, they could just act like total assholes to their owners and they still get fed and massaged. Yeah, the life of a cat, that's where it's at for sure. Not responsible for home security, not responsible for anything really, All right, I've gone off the rails because I'm a little high right now, not going to lie to you. It's a holiday weekend. So the hunters in Florida, here's the rules. Hunters will be allowed to bait bears and use dogs. The rules would divide the state into 7 distinct bear management zones, but hunting would be allowed in only 4 of those bear management zones. And the hunting permit, which only 172 were actually given out to hunters, only permits one bear kill per permit. So you're only allowed to kill one bear with your hunting permit. You got to tell Floridaman that like 100 times, because Floridaman will just go crazy, killing all kinds of bears. A Floridaman might start shooting squirrels and gophers and groundhogs and emus and people's small dogs and hawks and eagles and what. I mean, you just can't. You gotta keep Floridaman on a leash. It's tough stuff, you know. So, I mean, I can understand people getting upset. I wouldn't be upset so much that they're culling the bears if the bears are an issue. I'd be upset that they're allowing Floridaman to do it. You know, I'd be like, okay, can't you get professionals in here? Like people, I don't want, just pass out shooting permits to Florida men, just like pieces of paper that let Florida men go blam 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 in the woods. I'm not sure I want that. I want less blam 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 from Florida man. I want some rules to take away the blam 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 from Florida man as much as I can. Take away the blam 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 as much as I can from Florida man. That's what I say. All right. In addition to all of these rules that I've mentioned, the Wildlife Agency also made rules designed to take female bears out of the hunter's crosshairs by setting the hunting season in December, when female bears tend to limit their range and begin denning with cubs for the winter. So hopefully no female bears will be hunted down by the dreadful Florida man. And it says here the Florida Wildlife Commission rules aim to limit bear kills in the Central Florida hunting zone to 18, though the region has the state's largest estimated bear population, about 1,200 animals total. By comparison, Pennsylvania's 4-day rifle bear season opened November 22nd, and since then, 1,008 bears have been registered with the Game Commission as of Monday. The largest animal killed was over 700 pounds. Well, I mean, I don't have enough data to make a judgment, and I don't live down in Florida, so I don't know. Are bears out of control over there? I do know that this was voted for by like 67% of the people that voted. So this was voted into rule. And I am 100% pro-democracy. If the people vote for something, I like to see it come to fruition. There's occasions where people vote for something and politicians go, no, I don't think so. Although you all want it, we're not doing that. So, I can't really judge overall what's going on here, but it was voted for, so perhaps it is an issue. It's a little concerning that the people on the commission are land developers. That should send a red flag there. Are they clearing the way for unaffordable housing, or is this a real issue down in Florida with the bears? I'm going to defer to the residents of Florida that voted and just assume that the bear population is currently a bit of an issue right now. So hunting bears, perhaps this is something that needs to be tried at least. What are you going to do with the bears? Eat the meat? Is that going to be a thing? I would imagine Florida man just eats the meat. Brain worms and all. Did you know bears have worms and they go into your brain? That's why you shouldn't eat bear meat, really, unless you really cook the crap out of it. You just have to you got to really burn out the worms, because they got worms and they get into your brain, which isn't much of a problem for Florida man, because Florida man doesn't have a brain so much. A Florida man kills 2 people and tells the police a cockroach told him to do it. The story is out of Mineola, Florida. Isn't Mineola a sort of orange? Are the Mineola oranges from Florida, from Mineola, Florida? I'd love to know. Anybody have this additional information? A Florida man is facing murder charges. Oh, going from Mineola oranges to murder. A man is facing murder charges after allegedly admitting to the police he fatally shot 2 people inside his Florida home after receiving, quote, a message from a cockroach that he needed to kill. That's very strange. I've never been told to kill by an insect before. But, I mean, I think as a rule, if a bug tells you, that you have to do something, it's best to just, listen and maybe follow along. Or you can call a psychiatric hospital and have them come pick you up. You could do that too. That's another option. Call the psych ward. That's not as cheap as it sounds, though. Not in the U.S. You might want to just answer the call of the bugs. It's more affordable that way. The Florida man's name is Johnny Lancaster, age 28. He's been arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder in connection with the incident inside the Florida home. Lancaster was booked into the detention center, and it is not immediately clear if he has retained a lawyer. Oh, you got a lawyer that wants to step in and defend this cockroach guy? I'm sure there's a lawyer out there that can't wait to defend the cockroach guy, the cockroach killer, because lawyers are the minions of Satan, clearly. It also says authorities haven't yet identified the men killed in the incident or the 2 young children who were also found inside the house at the time. How do you not have any of this information? You got the cockroach information, but you don't even have the identities of the 2 men that were killed? Is the police department too busy laughing about the cockroach part that they can't even finish their jobs? Seems awfully strange that you don't have this necessary information, these details. According to the arrest warrant, it says here, the deputies responded to reports of gunfire in a home just before 10 o'clock. When deputies arrived, they were met at the front door by Lancaster, who, quote, had a firearm on his waistband and a Marine Corps saber on his hip. Oh, he's got the old Marine Corps saber. Is a former military guy or just a weirdo? Lancaster, who was immediately detained, told the police he was in the Marines and, quote, had to do what he had to do. Got to do what I got to do. You know, when a cockroach tells you to murder, well, you got to murder. You just got to listen to cockroaches. Cockroaches are intelligent, much more intelligent than we give them credit for. Plus, there's that song. You know how the song goes. La cucaracha, now you murder all your friends. La cucaracha, you got to shoot him in the head. All right, back to the details. After Lancaster told the police he had to do what he had to do because a bug told him, he also stated there were 2 dead bodies inside the house. Once inside the house, the warrant states deputies found 1 dead man with possible gunshot wounds. Possible, it's definitely. And that was in the front of the house. A second man was apparently stabbed. He was in an attached apartment with stab wounds. The 2 children were found inside, safely removed from the residence. Thank goodness. Can't have kids around a fella that listens to a cockroach's orders to murder. Actually, if you want to take it to another level that you probably should, it would behoove you to remove all the children from Florida so that they have a chance in life. Now, in an interview with Lancaster, he said he knew the 2 slain men, one of whom was the owner of the property. He then allegedly said he had believed the property owner was a friend who had been stalking him during the days leading up to the incident. All right. No drugs involved. I mean, we're going to talk about that. I mean, no drugs involved. There's got to be drugs involved. I see drugs is what I see. It's either meth, which it probably is, or this guy's got a point with the cockroach, and maybe you need to bring the cockroach in for questioning. Did anybody find the cockroach? Where are these detectives? Get this little varmint in the studio for questioning. Studio? Station. I meant station. According to deputies, Lancaster alleged that the friends had placed cameras in the lights. He also told the police he was allegedly hearing creepy voices coming from the vents and had been getting signs that he had to end the property owner before he ended him. Lastly, he told the deputies that he received an encrypted message from the cockroach that he, quote, needed to kill the property owner. He also added that the property owner does not like cockroaches. So he was on Team Cockroach, apparently. This is a real cockroach we're talking about, right? Like the bug. This isn't some drug dealer that the Lancaster owed money to named Cockroach. It's a real, I assume it's the bug because it's, Floridaman and they're crazy. By the way, I got an email from somebody recently from another country. And at the end of their email, they were like, P.S., what do you have against Florida? Like it's personal or something. Like I got personally something against Florida. It's not personal, my friend, my dedicated listener. Keep listening. You'll find out why. Must be new to the show, I'd assume. Or just, listen to this episode a couple times. I mean, I don't know. This segment should do it, right? A bug tells a guy to kill somebody, kill 2 people, kills them. A bug. It's kind of strange when you break it down. It's like a bug tells a guy to kill a couple people, and now he's going to go to jail forever and ever. But a snake tells a person to eat an apple, and they get to be in the most popular book ever. A Florida priest was arrested for having a violent confrontation with a woman who was donating to his own church. This story is out of southwest Miami-Dade. A 72-year-old Floridaman priest was arrested after a confrontation with a woman dropping off some donations at the church. It escalated into a physical struggle, apparently, not something you want to see over the holidays. Jesus Gabriel Saldana was charged with burglary of an occupied conveyance. Anybody know what that means? Occupied conveyance? I own this occupied conveyance. Get out of my occupied conveyance. He's also charged with battery on a person 65 years or older and a misdemeanor criminal mischief charge as well. This was following the incident at St. Kevin Catholic Church. Police say the victim arrived at the church around noon to donate items and attempted to photograph the donations alongside a politically themed poster. Now we have the arrest report, and according to that, Saldana, identified as the church priest collecting donations, told her she was not allowed to take pictures and ordered her to leave. When she asked for her donations back, an argument ensued at the church. According to authorities, the victim began photographing Saldana, prompting him to lunge at her. Okay, so Saldana's the priest. Wow, whoever wrote this article is probably AI. It's very poorly put together here. So Saldana's the priest with all these charges. All right, I'm a little confused. She brings donations there. She starts taking pictures. He gets angry. She takes a picture of him. He attacks her. Am I up to speed? Can anybody? That's what's going on, right? Donations, but no photos. I'm gonna punch you in the face, just as Jesus would. Now it says here that bystanders separated the two Florida citizens, the lovely Florida citizens that are just behaving around the holidays. But Saldana, the priest, allegedly reached into the woman's vehicle without permission for unknown reasons, too. Wow, geez, I wish we knew these reasons. They're unknown, though, sadly. Now, I'm sure we could come up with a theory as to why he reached into the woman's vehicle. It's called Floridaman can't control himself. Floridaman urges. The struggle continued, they say, as the victim got into the driver's seat. Police say Saldana battered her while attempting to pull her out of the vehicle. Oh, she's battered. Oh, I love a good battered Florida woman with deep fried and with a couple dipping sauces on the side. I like a honey mustard and a sweet and sour. Those are my go-tos. If you got barbecue, I'm okay with it. Barbecue's okay, but I'm really partial to honey mustard and sweet and sour all the way, baby. Now, more of these debaucherous details. During the altercation, the priest ripped off the rearview mirror of her car, damaged the vehicle's gear selector. Investigators say the woman, who has a history of cardiac issues, later had to drive herself to a hospital where she was then admitted. Saldana, the priest, Florida man, also reached into her vehicle again and dumped out her purse on the ground while searching for her phone. That's according to the arrest report. Saldana turned himself into the Miami-Dade Police Midwest District Station. Wow, how about that? A Florida man turning himself into the police station. You hardly ever hear of that. You wouldn't even expect a Florida man priest to do that. There's a statement here from the Archdiocese of Miami saying that Father Jesus Saldana, pastor of St. Kevin's Catholic Church, was he needed to be exorcised this morning, and we did so in a closed service. I'm just kidding. They didn't exorcise him. You might want to think about that, though. He's obviously got the devil inside. Every single Florida man, the devil inside. Every single Florida man, the devil inside. Yeah. Whoa. Oh, here come the Florida man. Look in his eyes. He's gonna smoke something. What's in his pipe? Elderly Florida men have been accused of lewd and lascivious activity at a nature preserve. Ooh, a story centered around lewd and lascivious activity in Florida. Oh, Florida man's always into lewd and lascivious activity. You don't even need a license for lewd and lascivious activity in Florida. It's just an old-time pastime. It's just an old-fashioned love song. Florida man is drunk and flashing me. Wow, we be getting musical today. Musical. Let's get the details about this Florida nature hike, apparently. This is according to the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office. The Special Investigations Division responded to an ongoing complaint of lewd and lascivious activity. And this was happening at the DJ Wilcox Preserve. You know, the preserve near Old Dixie Highway in Fort Pierce. And now we have two elderly Florida men in handcuffs for the holidays. Oh, shame. This was after they allegedly went on a scenic nature walk, hoping for a lucky stroll with a happy ending. It actually says that in the article. They were hoping for a lucky stroll with a happy ending. According to the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, the Special Investigations Division responded to an ongoing complaint of this activity. Oh, I think I already said that. It was an ongoing investigation. That means people went undercover to find these old men engaging in lewd and lascivious activity in a nature preserve. How much crime is not going on in Fort Pierce, Florida, that you could just dedicate a whole undercover operation? What they called it? Operation Low-Hanging Balls? Operation Forest Fondling. Operation Woody? Huh? That's a good one, right? Woody, because it's in the woods, and Operation Dentures, because it's old. Yeah, all right. Maybe they just called it Depends. Come on, guys. Come on. It's just old people jokes, right? It's just highbrow humor on Weird AF News. Florida men and old men engaging in lewd and lascivious behavior. I don't know what you expected. This is what happens when old men get too old to play golf. I thought we solved this with pickleball, but apparently not. They like to instead they like to play lickleball. Guys, get it? Lickleball? Because they're in the woods getting it on. All right. Let's get into the story here. I hope no children are listening to this. You don't let your children listen to Florida Friday episodes, do you guys? I mean, that might be grounds for losing custody or something. I mean, Monday through Thursday, that's fine, but we don't want them downloading Floridaman software, do we? Just listening to these stories will make you a problem, I think. Okay, so the deputies launched an undercover operation. Undercover? I love to see, like, the deputies that were involved. Did they dress up like old men? Like old bucket hats and fake gray mustaches? Perhaps a corncob pipe of sorts. I don't know. I don't think old men smoke corncob pipes anymore. In this nature preserve, they like other pipes to smoke. You know what I'm saying. Hey-yo. Sheriff's office says that they began monitoring the area in the undercover operation. Within minutes, it says, an elderly man identified as Claude Higgins, age 82. Oh, poor Claude. He's got an old guy name. He's out in the forest. It says Claude approached one of the undercover detectives, exposed himself. My goodness. Look at Claude just whipping it out in nature at the nature preserve. Well, it's warm in Florida. That's why people be whipping it out in Wendy's parking lots. Claude, could you just stick to the Walmart like the rest of the normal Floridians do? Claude exposed himself and then propositioned himself for sexual gratification to the undercover. Moments later, another elderly man named Dallas Freeman, age 87, approached an undercover detective and also propositioned himself for sexual activities, a.k.a. lewd and lascivious behaviors on a weekend. Yes, hi. I would first like to show you my junk, and now I'd like to propose lewd and lascivious behaviors with you. Would you like to engage in some relationships that are lewd and lascivious with me? What do you think? Are you an officer? Oh, my goodness, Sebastian. I'm going to jail. Oh, I was hoping to go to the YMCA. It's fun to say it. The YMCA. I don't want to go to prison. Although, are there going to be men there that are going to engage in lewd and lascivious behaviors? It says Freeman and Higgins, these elderly men, were booked on counts of exposure of their sexual organs. This is a result of the big takedown from the big sting, the big nature genitalia sting. Thank goodness for these deputies. Wow, they're really grabbing the real evildoers in Florida. I tell you, the Florida men we really got to keep our eye on is these old men that are just diddling each other in the forest. No, pay no attention to the guy in the Walmart parking lot trying to buy children. No, it's 82-year-old Claude that we got to watch out for, this guy. Claude better be careful, though, and the rest of the guys in this nature preserve, because it's now bear hunting season. It's open season. You might get shot out there. Be careful. And by the way, for the record, I've never been on a hike in a nature preserve and had anyone try to fondle me or offer me any love at all. It's just, this sounds like a magical zone over here. A magical zone. Oh, no, I'm kidding. This isn't okay. You can't have old men doing this kind of thing. Although, if they could open their own nudie farm, they could do this, right? You could just open your own nudie gay farm. You could do this all day long. You don't have to do it in the nature preserve. That's when people see you. Cops be running up onto you. What are you doing? I was just peeing. And you? I was just peeing too. I was having a wee. I was having a wee. Right, I was having a wee as well. Right. And I was having a wee as well. And I was having a wee. It's just a pile of men out in the nature preserve that were, quote, having a wee. And I feel bad for the nature preserve because they don't need this reputation now. Imagine the Yelp reviews they're getting because of these men out there just performing lewd and lascivious acts amongst the bushes and Brussels and moss. All right, now I just took a break and I had AI write me a humorous review of the Wilcox Preserve. I pasted the article and I told them to write me a review about this place where elderly men are meeting up, cruising the area for lewd and lascivious behaviors. And it wrote, DJ Wilcox Preserve, the birds and the bees habitat, 3 out of 5 stars. Look, here's the review. Look, I'm all for supporting local parks, and the DJ Wilcox Preserve certainly delivers on that classic Florida humidity and that beautiful swampy smell. The canopy is gorgeous, and the trails are relatively well maintained. If you're looking for a peaceful, solitary hike, however, well, let's just say you might find a little more company than you bargained for. The signage is a bit confusing, particularly in the deeper, more secluded loops. I kept running into these older gentlemen, very polite, mostly retired, and definitely not wearing enough SPF. These men seem to be using the trails for some extremely rigorous pants-optional stretching routine. I originally came hoping to spot some rare wading birds, but the real local wildlife highlight seems to be the unexpected flashes of pale skin around the cypress trees. It's a very interactive experience, as several of the hikers seem determined to share their natural beauty with me, often while standing very, very still. It felt less like a hike and more like a competitive game of peekaboo with a prostatitis pamphlet. Pros. Here are the pros for the Wilcox Preserve. Lush foliage, great for people watching. Ample benches for a quick rest. Cons. The, quote, open fly policy is a bit jarring, and the main path sometimes gets confusingly renamed, quote, the back loop. Next time I think I'll stick to a paved path where the only exposure I worry about is some sun exposure. Knock, knock, knock. Well, that was actually kind of a funny AI-generated Yelp review for this nudie nature preserve. I was wondering if they do a good job. Yeah, pretty good job. I gave, of course, I pushed the buttons on that one. So, anyways, I'm just trying to give you guys some extra laughs wherever I can. I probably could have wrote a better one myself, but yeah, I'm hungover. Happy holidays, everybody. I hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving. Those of you living in the States and that might have had one. I think you guys do sort of a Thanksgiving in Canada as well, don't you? Something like that, from what I've heard. A Canada Thanksgiving of some sort. Maybe you should fill me in on that. Email me, funnyjones@gmail.com. I'd love to learn about your Canadian Thanksgiving if you happen to have one. Let's give thanks and praise. What are we thankful for? I'll tell you what I'm thankful for. The new Patreon that joined. I got a new patron of the arts. Someone joined the Patreon yesterday on Thanksgiving, and it made me so happy. I don't know this individual's name. Here's the profile name. There was MPFZX48K. That must stand for something. MP Physics 48K. Anyways, just joined the Patreon, and I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. By the look of the monetary unit, I'm going to say this is someone in the UK or Europe. So. I'm grateful for my patrons across the pond, my listeners across the pond. I know you guys don't celebrate Thanksgiving over there, but maybe you got something going on. I don't know. Maybe it's a special time of year for you as well. Well, Christmas is coming around the corner anyways, no doubt. I'm sure you've been doing some Christmas shopping, some of you, this weekend, and that's very stressful. So maybe hopefully you'll take a break and you'll listen to Weird AF News for a little pick-me-up of some sort. No, I, for one, had a lovely Thanksgiving of some good food and drinks and football. That makes me happy. Food and drinks and football, passing out on couches while watching football. So good times. Having some leftovers today and an espresso martini to take as a hair of the dog, the hair of the dog thing. Anyways. I'm rambling, and I'm going. This podcast is almost a half an hour today. What the hell did I do? All right. Well, I'm wicked sorry. Wicked sorry about that. Let me just get out of here. I'll just say here's something I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for my listeners, so I need to say that. Thank you. I'm thankful for my listeners very much. So without you, I wouldn't even. What's the point of doing the show without you? If any of you would like to join the Patreon, like MPFX48K did from across the pond. Just go to my website, weirdafnews.com, or go to Patreon, patreon.com/weirdafnews. My website, though, weirdafnews.com, has everything you need. You can even buy me coffee for the holidays. How about that? I'll probably spend it on more espresso martinis, though, because I'm really feeling them. Love you.